Update. Because of my 31 female husband of 10 years, 42 male actions, I'm losing my friends and family. Original post. We have been married for almost 10 years and have 2 children together. Over the past few years, my friends and family members have distanced themselves from us, to the point where some will no longer spend time with us. I know that my husband can be very rude and controlling, like dictating where everyone sits when we're out at dinner with friends, playing only his music when we have people over at our house, picking fights with me in public, etc. And I can understand them not wanting to spend time socially with him. However, he will not let me go and spend time with them on my own. He is quite jealous of me. I asked my sister, 35 female, about this, and she told me some rather disturbing things. Namely, that after her husband and mine had an argument, my husband then had started spreading rumors that her significant other had interfered with our children. He then contacted her directly and implied that her husband was cheating on her. What the heck? Neither of these things have any basis in truth. One of my other friends recently told me that my husband told them I cheated on him all the time. They figured it was lies, but felt uncomfortable talking to me about it. After I asked him why he would say that, he had a heated argument with them and screamed at them for interfering in his marriage. He picks fights with me when we are visiting with friends, making it awkward for everyone, and has previously abandoned me at others' houses because he was angry. All of this adds up to them not wanting to spend time with him, but it makes it very difficult for me to maintain those friendships due to his jealousy. There is more, but I don't know how much information to provide. Please ask me if you have any questions. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Sounds like you need a divorce. He is controlling your life in a way that you obviously don't want. Go seek help from a professional, or confront him about these things yourself. I have raised this issue a few times now, and his response is along the lines of, I only said/did this because. He has refused counseling even though I begged him to attend with me. It feels like he simply doesn't care that I'm losing my friends, and when I show that it's upsetting me, he criticizes them and tries to convince me that I'm better off without them. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he relishes in driving away your friends and family. He is isolating you. Isolation is a common tactic of maltreating partners. It is easier for him to control you when you have no friends or family to support you. He is emotionally mistreating you. No one likes him, including you. You want your kids to learn that mistreatment is the normal way to conduct a marriage? No, you don't. Open your own bank account, lawyer up, and file for divorce. No, I don't. He is obviously not like this 100% of the time, but what he does leaves a foul taste in my mouth, and I don't respect him. If my daughter were in a relationship with a partner that acted like this, I would do everything in my power to help her leave. Eventually, the effort to maintain these community ties will become too exhausting, and you let them go. When that happens, he'll be your only source of support and love. You won't feel that you have any choice but to be obedient and please him, because without him your world will crumble. If that's not the kind of future you want, get out now. It's already starting to feel that way. First update. I just spoke with my sister and apologized for what my husband had said. As difficult as it was to get out, I told her that I was really unhappy and I didn't know if I should stay with him. She told me that while she was not comfortable spending any time around him, she would always be there for me no matter what I decided, and that I am welcome in her house at any time. She also said that if I do decide to leave, she would love to have a stay with her while sort things out. But when I asked her what she thought I should do, she said she couldn't tell me, but that I should think about things as though I was a close friend talking to myself. I don't know if that makes sense in the writing of it, but I hope you get the idea. Right now, I don't know what to do. And thinking through not only this, but other things he says and does, I am quite shattered. I feel sick. I don't know how I'll be able to handle my emotions when he gets home. And now for the last update. Well, it took about a month to finally tell him that I was done, that I was leaving, but I did it. Another month before I was able to move out properly, but I stuck to my decision. And here I am 8.5 months later. I struggle a lot with the things he has/is putting me through, but my friends and family have been fantastic support. One thing that stuck out in all of this was his reaction when I first told him that I wanted to leave. He broke down, told me how sorry he was, said he would change, he loved me, etc. And I had some hope that things would improve. Then the next morning he started the most god-awful fight, screaming at me for even thinking of leaving him. How could I do that to him? That he would never trust me with his heart again and all kinds of other BS. He started throwing things, ripped the curtains down, drank about half a bottle of vodka, and I just left. All I could think was how his reaction was all about him. This kind of crap continued for the next couple of weeks. I slept in the spare room but would wake up to him snuggling against me. He kept buying me perfume and flowers but then would smash something or scream at me in front of the kids. He didn't lay a hand on me, but I think there were times that he was close to it. Oh, and then he overdosed on some anti-anxiety medication his doctor had prescribed. So I called an ambulance and let them take him into the hospital, which meant that I didn't care at all apparently. His new girlfriend moved in within weeks of me moving out. That was a surprise. I honestly don't know if he cheated on me, but he had her lined up pretty quickly. He hasn't stopped him from sending me about 1 million messages demanding that we work in our marriage though. At the same time, he spreads lies about how I left him for another man, or he dumped me because I cheated on him. So many lies that I don't know how he keeps track of them all. I just don't reply to him or his friends anymore. It will be another few months before I can file for divorce. We have to be separated for 12 months first, but I'm happier. My days are peaceful, aside from the nasty messages I get, and my friends are wonderful. I've been doing counseling, which has helped some, but to be honest, I think just being away from him has been the best thing for me. I don't know how the property settlement will end up. He keeps making threats to bankrupt us, which I doubt he would do, but still. The court system here is pretty fair apparently, so I just give it to my solicitor. It's too much stress for me to try and deal with. My children are adjusting slowly. They're with me almost all the time. When we were going through the breakup month, my ex was pretty horrible in front of them, so it will take some time for them to heal. But we will be okay. Congratulations! It's hard, but you'll pull through it. Good job. I wish you the best for you and your children. Thank you. It has been hard, but I know I've done the right thing. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. It's been 2 years since I got out of my awful relationship, so I understand how rough it is transitioning from the mistreatment to a normal life, and still have problems with it today. I always have an ear ready to listen if you need one. Thank you so much. I will keep that in mind. My friends have been borne the brunt of my talking/crying, but they've been amazing. I'm glad that you were able to leave your situation back then. Wow, what an eventful update, and thank God you made the right decision. I love how he instantly moves in a new woman while shouting and storming at you to come back to him. I think he needs to learn to bait his hook better. Yes, that was mind-boggling to say the least. In a selfish way, I'm glad his attention isn't fully on me though. Next story. I left my husband, 35 male, a couple of weeks ago to get some space, and it confirmed for me that I, 27 female, don't want to reconcile. I don't know how to respond to his pleas for me to come back. We've been together 8 years, married for 4. It's been a roller coaster since we got married. Here's the short of it. He disclosed credit card debt when we got married. I helped pay it off. We talked about money and other big values, and we seemed to be on the same page or willing to compromise. So I went into the marriage happy. We bought a house soon after and I got pregnant. In the next 3 years, he brought another gun into the house. After agreeing to only having one for home defenses, I did not want any. He didn't help at all when our son was born. In fact, he made things more difficult by not cleaning up after himself. Then I found that he had credit cards I didn't know about and had gotten $25,000 in debt. Then he got a concealed carry permit, after agreeing not to get one before we got married. Then I found him on a dating site which he had paid a $30 premium membership for. Then I found out that he hadn't actually been paying down his debt like I thought. It was down to $15,000, but then it went back up to $22,000. He started getting mean in the last year, making comments and calling me names when we argued. He bought a new dream car which increased his monthly payment and caused him to have to work more overtime. Then he threatened to lay his hands on me a couple months ago. That's when I started planning to leave. It's been a few weeks and I'm so much happier. My son is adjusting well, and had been spending a couple days a week with his dad, with me dropping by to put him to bed to make the transition a little easier. He's been this black cloud over my life, causing huge amounts of stress and constant anxiety. I feel so much calmer and happier without him. My husband wants to try counseling. We've done a few sessions with 2 different therapists in the past, and every time he came out of it angry and refused to go back until we found a different counselor. He always feels like they are against him. It's been months and he just recently found one. I'm willing to go, but to improve our communication and co-parenting. My problem now is that he's texting me that he misses me, that he's nothing without me, that I have to come home because we're a family, that he needs his wife back, that he's not sleeping well. It goes on and on. I don't know how to handle these. I've been pretending that I'm going to bed early so that I don't have to reply. I feel terrible for ignoring them, but the truth is that I don't miss him. I don't want to be cruel and say that straight up, but I also don't want to lie and say I do. I'm afraid to drop divorce on him because he's not in a good place mentally, and I'm afraid he will just crumble. He's been on medication and in counseling for years, but his depression is still bad. He will not listen to boundaries I said about not talking about our relationship outside of counseling. I still care about him, so it's hard to watch him hurting so much while I'm feeling so much better. Now for the advice. Lawyer up and build a calm, secure life your son needs. I noticed he's not saying what he's done wrong, apologizing, etc. Just how awful his life is. Be glad you're done with him other than co-parenting. If you agree to counseling, make sure he and the therapist knows you're only interested in improving your ability to co-parent your child and not getting back together. Well, given the history, it sounds like you are 100% making the right choice. My biggest concern here is for your safety. You've said that he is battling mental illness, and B carries a concealed weapon. I'm sorry to say it that way, but those are the facts of the matter. This could be a dangerous situation, so you need to make sure you and your child are protected. Do you have family who can help you? Maybe you can stay with them when you break the news to him about divorce. If you know people who live far away, that might be even better. Whatever your next step is, just be very careful and very aware of keeping yourself safe. You may not think he's capable of anything, but better safe than sorry. Oh, and I should mention that you need to protect your finances as much as possible. And maybe get your ducks in a row with that before you tell him about the divorce. He had a mental health crisis not too long ago and all of his guns were taken. I'm staying with my parents, so I feel safe right now. I have access to cameras at his house so I can check in on our son while he's there. I'm trying to do as much as I can to keep us safe. Last story is titled, My husband just spent a ton of money on himself and his dog, knowing I was trying to save up so my kids could actually have a Christmas. I think I'm here more or less to vent than anything else. I lost my job a month ago due to medical issues, but I'm currently very close to being able to get back out there. I can see the end of the tunnel, but I'm still in a lot of pain. My husband is now the breadwinner for the first time ever since being together, 8 years. My children are not his biological kids. He got a dog 2 years ago and that is his baby. Won't go anywhere without his dog. That is like an unhealthy attachment. If he gets home from work, he won't even speak to me, but will immediately love on his dog and continue to do so all night, while take care of the entire house. Has her sit on his lap all night long basically. He treats me and the kids fine, don't get me wrong. He is not mean. He is attentive for the most part. He just very obviously loves his baby much more. Anyways, we got our workers' relief check in the mail on Monday of last week. I went and cashed them on Friday and put them in the bank, and fully told him I plan to spend that on my kids for Christmas, which is going to be incredibly small this year. Maybe 2 items at most, because we are broke, but I told him this anyways. Today he had a day off and he ended up going and dropping $90 on a pair of shoes that he didn't need. He has 4 other pairs that he makes up excuses to not wear. A new insulated hat and face mask that cost almost $30. A new 12-feet phone charger for himself despite us having 2 regular chargers already. And then dropped almost $80 on his dog. Treats, jackets, booties, hat. He also paid rent and our other bills. So now we have $34 left over. Which means he literally spent all of my workers' relief checks, so now I have nothing. I confronted him on it and he said not to worry about it because he will have 4 paychecks between now and Christmas, and the kids will still have crap for Christmas. But the thing is, we have almost $400 coming out for his back debt payments. My kids are going to have an awful Christmas even more than they were already looking at, because he spent all this money on unnecessary things that he and his dog definitely didn't even need. I'm so upset. I know I will figure it out, no question, whether I need to go through a Toys for Tots program or not, but I can't tell if I'm allowing this to build resentment. Because admittedly, Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I like spending at least $150 on each of my kids. But this year, I will be lucky to spend maybe $50 each. I feel this was so disrespectful that he spent the only money he had that was actually mine on himself and his dog. We couldn't have separate bank accounts because he owed money from his previous bank. He was 19 and his mother was writing and bouncing checks in his name. So it was either get on the account with me as a secondary or pay back almost $9,000 worth of stuff that his mother should have been paying back. We had a rough start because of our ignorance. His credit was destroyed already when I met him at 18 because his mother completely screwed him. This is the first time this has ever happened. I had no reason prior to not trust him being on my account. We were best friends for 7 years prior to dating. Well, it doesn't sound like you're his best friend at all now. Exactly. How is he your best friend if he doesn't like your kids? Because my BFF has a kid, and I buy her unprompted several Christmas and birthday presents every year, and sometimes just because. I'll praise her art or chat with her when I'm on the phone with my friend. Yes, your friends don't have to love your kids, but if you're going to give them a parent's role in your kid's life, then yeah, they absolutely do need to love and prioritize them. What the heck are you teaching your kids to accept from relationships and the adults in their lives? The fact that he can't get another bank account in no way, shape or form, means you can't have another one. You need your own savings account for Christmas at the absolute least. Bigger than that though, the situation is concerning. Being married to someone who hasn't actually accepted your kids as their own is problematic. If you can tell he cares about the dog more than he cares about them, so can they. That's a really crappy position to put your kids in. The selfishness is an issue, as is you explicitly telling him how you wanted to spend the money, and him responding by just spending it on something else instead of discussing it if he had an issue. My stepdad loved the dog more than me and his bio daughter. We knew